Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day of me waving my hands over a slightly smaller windowed area. I brought my camera downward a little bit, just a touch, but we're going to try D100 Dungeon today. It's not as intimidating as it may first seem because I am intimidated. I've been playing a lot of things like Note Quest and For Against Darkness, and this has a completely different focus and is much more granular. So, please, I'm likely to make quite a few mistakes, but I'm going to do the very, very best that I can. After all, the point of the game is not to be pedantic about the rules. The point of the game is to have fun. If I make mistakes, and I will, such is life. Really quick though, the sheets that I have here is a really quick cheat sheet for player turns and combat and monster reactions and all this. I have another cheat sheet that's very good for more of an in-depth explanation of combat rounds, and I'm going to be using things like this. The character sheet, I am of course the character Zerg with a 60 strength, a 30 dexterity, a 30 intelligence. We are a warrior, a human being with the skill of mighty blow. As long as our strength remains over 50, we have that skill of mighty blow. We are armored with leather guards on our arms. We are carrying a halberd, studded leather belt, and scale mail something or other, Pauline, I've forgotten how to pronounce it, on the legs. It provides a tiny bit of armor, which is good. I mean, it subtracts 1 from damage there just because of that, and that subtracts 3, so that's good. We have a whole bunch of skills that we're going to use, and on the back here, we have 2 healing potions. Very, very cool. We have to keep track of the monsters that are damaged and destroyed because as you destroy, you get skills and bonuses and pluses, and that's a good thing. We have the dungeon sheet all ready to go, and that too is a very good thing. Now the first thing that you do after creating your character, and I created this character on a different video where I created characters for Note Quest and For Against Darkness and D100 Dungeon. This is a brand new character, and so we are taking on the very first quest. Now hopefully I have, there's a PDF file you can get that has charts and some such in it. Maybe I can use that to put it up, but we are going to the very first dungeon. The encounter modifier is minus 40. And we have to enter the dungeon and loot 3 parts from the monsters there. I am not quite sure why there is a test at the very beginning. That's what it looks like, because that's like success, failure, but I could be wrong on that. Oh, I am intimidated already. Since looking at that quest thing, I am really unsure what that part means. So we're not even going to worry about that at the moment. Because if we look up quests in the book, yes, it mentions nothing at all about those. Oh, I guess if you succeed in the quest, yes, it's failing a quest. Sometimes it's better to cut your losses. Knowing when to quit is important. If you quit, you fail your quest, but success, you get the whatever it tells you. And for failure, well, I'm not success. There's a thingy here that's all about that. So that's good. We need to loot 3 parts from the monster. So we are going to be going into the dungeon to loot these things. Now, we use the book a lot. This is not like Note Quest or For Against Darkness where you largely just set the book to the side. This book is the Dungeon Master, and it talks about everything. So what we do when we begin our turn here, I'm not using the complete dungeon game tracker because I simply just don't have enough room. I'm going to be knocking things all over because there are little coins here, not coins, little crystal plastic token things, and you put them on all of these various parts, and I know that I'd be knocking them all over the place every time I did things. So I'm just going to use this for the very first thing you do on your turn is you shade in this. That is a little candle. I have to go onto my character sheet and mark off 1 bit of oil, because that's what that indicates. You used up some oil on your turn. Oh boy, if I see this, it's a look for wandering monsters, and there's all sorts of things, and you have to eat. I mean, it even says spend 1 foil. Yeah, so thumbs up. We have eaten some food. We have eaten some food. We have shaded in the timer. There is no wandering monster, so we head on to adjust the map part. Because if we look on page 20 through 24, well, these are the monster abilities. Choosing a quest, and then there's the turns, the time track, which is we are going into our very first room. It has been a time since I've done this, so I am shaky and frightened and not doing this very well at all. My sincere apologies. This is a learning experience for all of us. Okay, since we are coming in here, you are supposed to align with the dungeon entrance at the bottom of the page and proceed to step 3. And step 3 is when we check out the area, which this kind of says too as well, when it's you check the area. But for the area, it's when the exit has been dealt with. Well, that's the entrance that we're coming into, and any doors have been opened up. We are now in here because it is the very entrance. So now we roll on table M and we generate a new area. That area is copied and drawn to the dungeon sheet in the blank space exactly as it is shown on the table. The player is not permitted to change its orientation from how it is shown on the table and must include all door symbols that are blocking any of its exits. So it's pretty intense. So now we go to table M. And we roll our D100, which this even has. It's got your 10s all the way ups. It's the 10s. And this is the 1s. So this room looks like 71. And 71 is a green area. I'll lift up my book, though. If I have a PDF, hopefully I've shown that. It's a 71, this room right here. And it is a green room, so with this here, you have to use a D6 occasionally. We are going to copy this over onto this sheet. Which this is just, make it look, woodly, 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 and then there's the door there, and woodly, woodly, and that's an actual, it might be a door. Well, it's a door. But first, I need to color this in, because it's green, and that's important. And it actually is. That determines, the color of the room determines a whole bunch of stuff, especially later on when you've got to map in certain types of the rooms. So this is what we have so far, and there's going to be more. This is green, so we roll Geographic. So we come back to the main turn part that I should have not marked. Okay, there are doors, if you have various doors, but we're back to area. We record the color, And then we check the rest of these things, which is Geographic. We roll on table G, Geographic, and we follow those instructions. So we go to G, and we roll. Geographic. There's a lot of pages to the Geographic. I need something to, as a bookmark or some such, so that I don't keep losing my place. Okay, we roll on table G for the geographical features. There we are. And that is 52. So we look to 52, and we see that 52 is a lever in a secluded part of the dungeon, or the very first room. The adventurer finds a lever protruding from the wall. Well, you know, lever. The lever can be pulled, optionally, by rolling 1d10 on the table below. Add lever G52 to the dungeon sheet and mark it with a check if you decide to pull it. Okay, so we go lever G52. And I'm going to pull it. So I'm going to put a check mark on there. And now we're going to roll a d10 to find out what occurs. 9. After it is pulled, a far-off rumble can be heard. Shade 1 pip on the lever track. Now, do I have a lever track on my character sheet? Ah, lever sheet. Lever track. So let's quickly, because I suddenly cannot remember how this lever thing works here. We are looking up levers. Somewhere in the dungeon you may have found a lever to pull, and by doing so it has unlocked a door elsewhere. When a lever door is found, the player rolls 1d10. The door is open, the door code is changed to a 0, and they move 1 lever pip from their lever track. They roll higher, Well, we put 1 pip on the lever track. Okay. I'm not too sure exactly what that does mean, but let me check. Yeah, doors are up here. Okay. Well, we're going to go, just since I'm not sure where levers are aside from the combat sheet, we're going to put right up here at the very tippy top L, and we're gonna put in 1 box to show that I have pulled 1 lever to increase my lever count. There we go. We have done this thing. But now, after you do that, you may search each area once per game and search for hunt for anything of interest. You roll a D100 on table F, and you follow the instructions. Now, we are in a green area that is +5 to the roll. At the same time, this first quest, I believe, I forgot to check if there were, or I forgot to remember if there were any encounter modifiers. It's -40. But the fact that it's green makes it just -35 to the encounter. This isn't an encounter, so it's just +5 to the roll on table F. So we're going to table F. Here we are. We're going to add 5 to this roll. And what we find is a 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. And on an 82, find this part of the dungeon was once a library. Most of the books are missing now, but a quick scan reveals a spell book with 2 spells written inside. Roll twice on table S, spells, and add the results to the spell book. Now, I can't use a spell book until my intelligence goes over 50, but I can put the spells in the spell book. So we're going to go to table S. This has a modifier on the time of +0 on the time track. So it was easy and quick. So we go to table S to check for the spells. And we have 2 spells off of this table. The first spell is a 24. That is a fireball. Very, very good. Fireball. I don't know what all of these numbers off to the side mean right now, but I will double check on that at some point. That deals 4 HP to the monster at the start of the next round. Do not deduct the monster's defense. And to cast that costs 2 HP. -2 HP. And it does 4 damage. Pretty cool. The second spell, it'll be nicer when I get enough intelligence to cast it. Second spell is 24. Did I just roll another fireball? No. No, now it says 84. 84. I misread that entirely. This one's a lightning spell. And it does, we're going to write down lightning. Hey, at least I figured it out. I don't know how I saw that 8 as a 2. Lightning. And that does 1d10 damage. It does not subtract its defense. If it's still alive, it is just pulsating and writhing. Ooh. 1d10d. 1d10 damage. There's more, and I'll have to look that up, which is alright. So that's what we found in our spell book. That's what we have found on the first turn of being inside of the dungeon. We have spent not a lot of time inside, but this is what our dungeon looks like so far. One simple room. Now, I cannot remember, really, honestly and truly, on this doors thing here. Sometimes that's just locked doors, trap locked doors, jammed, lever, exits. If it's blocked by a door that already has a door code, okay, there is no door on this one. Because, if we go to table M to take a look at these rooms again, yes, we can see that some of these they have a door, but most of them are just open. And this one at 71 is just open. So we don't have a door. We're just going to go into the next room. First thing, we move the time track. There is no anything we have to do. We don't have to spend oil or food. We don't have to rest. Nothing. That's nice. That begins with the next part where we have to align this sheet. Rotate it so the exit you're going through is furthest away from you. If there's no door, draw a secret passage. Oh, if there's no door. It's not a door, but it's an opening. So we are just walking through. We've done that. The next part is we reveal the area. Okay, we are moving in. We are making a roll on the map table. 67. And a 67 is just a yellow corridor. I can make that look as goofy as I'd like because it's just a corridor going from here to there. No door on the other side. Yellow. I didn't get a yellow. I chose kind of a brown color. I think I'm assuming this sort of orange-brown color is yellow. So we're just going to color this in. Oodly, oodly, oodly. Oodly, oodly, oo. I'm sorry about I'm coloring in spaces, and so I have to sing about it some. Okay then, this is what the area looks like. Resolve any I cannot speak. My sincere apologies. I have got to do it here, or my brain is not functioning. We map it. Now, once it's mapped, it is just yellow. It's mostly empty. The few odd items that may be found are limited, so when it's been added to the dungeon sheet, you proceed to step 4, which is to search. And it is yellow. It is plus nothing on the table when you roll for F. Did that make sense to you? I was sort of speaking English, I think, but mostly not. We are searching though, and let's see what we find on the find table. 46. And this does use one turn, so after we're finished, we're going to have to move this up to Wandering Monsters. We're still resolving right now this. Hidden and wedged in part of the dungeon wall is a magic scroll. Roll once on table S, spells, and add scroll of before the spell's name when adding it to the adventure sheet. Okay, well, let's go to table S. U-R-S. Here we are. What spell scroll did we find? A 66. And that is a clumsy scroll. And this one, when you cast it, scroll of clumsy, the monster suffers -10 to its AV, which is its attack value. So we have a scroll of clumsy. And I'm just going to put that into the backpack. And that is scroll of clumsy. Oh, I'm putting it in the wrong area. This is for the one with damage tracks, and it's a scroll. It has no damage tracks. This is scroll of clumsy. All of these things, of course, I will have to look up again once I go to cast them. But it's worth 200 gold. If I decide to just sell it. That's not bad right there. I like the fact that it does that. Now, let's double check to make sure on here, because we've got turns, completing quests, Well, that's not completing a quest. It's just taking a turn, number of turns. Shade, there's this, but I guess we just have to, on another day, I'll fully understand how to read that part of the sheet. Still though, as we were searching, it was +1 on here. So then, because it moved that onto the wandering critter track, let us take a look back here and find out what we do for there's the time track. If you must deal with it immediately, see the time track. Time track, effects of oil, effects of food, effects of wandering monster. Each time the wandering monster symbol shows on the time track, there is a chance that the monster may appear. You roll 1d10, and if the result is equal to or less, a monster has appeared, and you must roll on table E, Encounter, to find out what is turned up. We subtract 40 from the Encounter modifier because this is the first quest. Wandering monsters must be dealt with before anything else can be resolved. Well, I guess I should have done this before I went and searched, but same result. Let's take a look. It says 4, so 6. No wandering monster has appeared. We did search that area, and that is good, though. Definitely a thumbs up. Where did I put the dungeon sheet? Where did I put the dungeon sheet? Where did I put the dungeon sheet? There we are. Oh, I have a brain, I promise. Okay, so back to the turns. Time track. Boom. And then exits. We align this and we resolve any doors. There are no doors. So, because there's no doors, we go direct into area, which is mapping. So back to table 4. 4 M for mapping. And we find out what room we have found here. A 7. Wow, okay. That is a red room. And this has an opening. Oh. There is a door. And so this just has. Oh, and then there's an opening up at the top. But then this just comes around to like this. So even though this looks pink, it's supposed to be red. This is our map so far that we have. So we need to take a look and do the whole rest of this parts. This is, no, this is a red room. 7, red. That is roll for encounter. So when we roll for encounter, yeah, just roll E for encounter. So we subtract 40 when we roll on table E for encounter. We subtract 40. What do we find in this room? 20. A 20 is giant bats. Okay, need to come to the combat track. Boy, I have no real place to put anything.